With the introduction of the previous two expansion teams, naming the Vegas Golden Knights and the Seattle Kraken has been a win for the league on many levels. It's hard to imagine now that in 1967 that the NHL had only 6 teams at that moment. In the 57 years since, it's expanded more than 400%, adding 26 franchises to get to its current 32 teams. So it's easy to wish for another NHL expansion, and it could possibly happen by the year 2026 if it does. So, welcome back to Sports Gear, and here are the possible locations for the next expansion. Atlanta, Georgia. The city has had many hockey franchises throughout its history, from minor league hockey to the NHL. Their most recent NHL franchise was Atlanta Thrashers that were a new expansion team at the time. That team was around from 1999 to 2011. And then they became the Winnipeg Jets the following season. Overall, the city has had a grand total of 2 NHL franchises, with the city's first ever NHL team being the Atlanta Flames from 1972 to 1980, until they relocated to Calgary. At the moment, the only hockey team that the city has is the minor league Atlanta Gladiators. Atlanta is a great city for another NHL expansion, and the city is also the largest US TV market, without a team, and the largest market to not have a team in all 4 major North American sports leagues. So I believe that Atlanta should still be on the list for a future NHL expansion, and it could possibly happen, and it may work out this time. Hamilton, Ontario. Wait, what? Doesn't Toronto already have the Maple Leafs? Yes. But it's been no secret that the entities both in and around the Greater Toronto metropolitan area have been eager to get on the NHL action for years now. For example, the city is just more than 40 miles to the southwest and ranks as the 3rd largest city in Ontario behind Toronto and Ottawa, with a population of just more than 800,000. Adding a team in this city would create a rivalry with the Toronto Maple Leafs, and that could perhaps attract the segment of the hockey-crazed fan base that does not align itself with the existing NHL team. The city at the moment doesn't have any professional hockey teams, and the last hockey franchise was the Hamilton Bulldogs from 2015 to 2023. This great city definitely deserves to have a hockey franchise in the future. Milwaukee, Wisconsin. This is another great city that hasn't ever had an NHL franchise. The city already is hosting 2 of the 4 major sports, the NBA and MLB, and hockey would be a great addition to a historic sports city. After seeing the support given to the NBA team throughout their championship run, there is no reason to believe that Milwaukee couldn't successfully support an NHL team in the future. Milwaukee could be a prime location for Midwestern rivalries with teams like the Wild, the Red Wings, the Blues, and the Blackhawks. By having a NHL team here, it would likely improve and increase youth hockey in Wisconsin while putting more of a spotlight on the state as a whole. To me, this is a great hockey market, and this city should be considered in the next NHL expansion, whenever that happens in the future. Portland, Oregon. The city actually had a franchise that played for the Stanley Cup in the early 1900s, and losing to the Montreal Canadiens after in the 1915-1916 season. Portland supports a decade-old NBA team in the Trailblazers and is among the hubs of Major League Soccer with the successful Portland Timbers franchise. It's also the home to the Winterhawks of the Western Hockey League, who average better than 3,000 fans per home game. Having the Kraken and the Vancouver Canucks distantly close would provide instant rivalries between those teams. The city has never lost its hockey vibe, and a future team would have a ready-made home in the Moda Center. I think that Portland should be considered for the next potential expansion in the future. Houston, Texas. Houston has never had an NHL franchise yet. The city had the Arrows of the American Hockey League, who were the most successful franchise from 1972 through 1978, winning 4 division titles and 2 cups before the team ceased operations. The city of Houston has sports teams in every major professional league, except for the NHL, and overall is a great sports city. The Arrows ownership attempted to get the NHL to move its Cleveland franchise to Houston in 1978, and there was talk in the 1990s that the Edmonton Oilers would end up there, but that never happened. Houston is the 4th largest city in the United States, making it the largest city currently not sporting an NHL team. With over 2.3 million residents calling the city home, there is no doubt that the city of Houston could easily support a NHL team. Having a team in Houston would make an instant rivalry with the Dallas Stars and should also help youth hockey in the area. I think this location is a great idea for the future. Salt Lake City, Utah. Compared to other cities on my list, Utah seems destined to join the NHL landscape rather soon. The city hasn't had an NHL team yet, but they do have the Utah Grizzlies, who play in the ECHL. Overall, Salt Lake City is a great sports city, and the city has one of the 4 major professional sports leagues, naming the Utah Jazz of the NBA. Even the owner of the Jazz has already told the league he's interested in being a financial backer. Adding Utah would be a huge boom for the NHL, as it fills in a major blank canvas in the United States Western Plains. If Utah got a team, that team would have an instant rivalry with the Vegas Golden Knights and the Avalanche. Some suggested team names could be the Utah Copper Miners, Salt Lake Mudsharks, and the Utah Cougars as starters. In the Nets expansion, I believe Utah has to be one of the Nets teams to be added to the NHL. Quebec City, Quebec. The city did have a NHL team called the Quebec Nordics, and they were one of the 4 WHA teams to make it to the NHL in 1979. Aside from the Oilers, they were the most successful organization following the crossover, reaching the playoffs 9 times in 16 seasons. Unfortunately for the beloved team, the franchise moved to Denver in 1995. Tens of thousands of die-hard hockey fans have gone without a local team to root for since. Now the population of the city has swelled to more than 550,000 since the team left. And even the commissioner of the NHL has had conversations with government officials about possible team relocations to a still hockey-mad city. So for the very next NHL expansion, I absolutely think that this city should be on the top of the list in the future. So those are the possible NHL expansion candidates. What do you think? Let me know in the comments down below. If you're new, please consider subscribing and turn on that notification bell. And if you love sports, this is definitely the place for you. And also share this video with more sports fans. For more hockey videos, please click up here. And thank you so much for watching. My name is Nathan. I'll see you guys all next time. Just keep loving sports.